Last spring, we shared with you our vision to intentionally share Jesus with our community, and very specifically, as a big part of that vision, to launch a second campus. So you might be wondering, what progress has been made toward the vision? And so, over these next several weeks, we'll share with you some updates, including some of the adaptations that we've made to our plan from the feedback we have received. Our big goal in phase one of our vision was for our church to catch a vision for inviting friends to follow Jesus. So many of you took our Share Jesus class. And just a few weeks ago on Easter, I heard like never before your passion for your friends and neighbors to know Jesus. Now, we're not done sharing Jesus. We've only begun. And so we will continue to equip you and to inspire you because Jesus is the hope our world so desperately needs, and we want to share it. You may also remember that a big step in phase one was to find and call a campus pastor. And so after an extensive search, we connected with Billy Beisman. And we were thrilled last fall when he accepted our call to join our team. We then spent the next 6 months helping Billy get acquainted with our church and some of the crazy ways that we do ministry here at RidgeNaz. In addition to preaching regularly, he's been engaging with our men's ministry, making personal connections, and a whole lot more. And I'm happy to tell you that after our evaluation and extensive prayer, our church board recently unanimously affirmed Billy's leadership and place in our church. If you've not gotten the chance to get to know Billy and Sabra, make sure that you find them before or after a service on an upcoming Sunday. And I believe you too will come to deeply appreciate them as I, many others have. He'll do more and more around our downtown campus. And if you ever need to talk to a pastor, he's available and brings years of experience and wisdom to help you in your journey with Jesus. We also wanted to rally around what makes our church unique, and we needed a leader to own the process. So we appointed Billy to coordinate our Discover RidgeNaz Strengths congregational survey, focus groups, and interviews. We did this on purpose so that Billy could hear your stories about RidgeNaz and to give him the opportunity to get to know our church better. In fact, just today as I'm recording this, Billy and the team are finalizing their findings, and very soon we'll have a report to share with you. In the meantime, however, I have asked Billy to share with you some of the survey results. And so, for the rest of this week's Vision Communication, I'll turn it over to Billy.
Greetings, I am Pastor Billy, and it's a pleasure to be joining with you wherever or however you're watching this video. I am pleased to be able to share with you some of the results from our Discover RidgeNaz Strengths process. It's been really enlightening for me to hear your stories and hear your heart and the ways you've been able to share with us. And if you've taken the survey, if you participated in focus group times together, if you've been able to be one of the few that we're able to meet with one-on-one and share some of your stories, I just want to thank you for taking time and for taking the energy to share with us your thoughts and to share with us your heart and to give us feedback on that. It was extremely valuable for me to hear, and I think it'll be extremely valuable for our church family to hear what we've learned from just hearing from each other, hearing from you. So as we explore that, one of the things that we gathered from this survey, I'm going to share with you just a few of those, but one of the questions was, what drew you to our church? As you Googled us or as you drove around town church shopping, as you were looking for a place to connect with, you came into our building, you participated in something, and the question was, what kind of drew you in? What brought you to continue to be here? And you fed back to us the response that you found us at those first moments to be very welcoming, very friendly, very engaging, and that was a big part of you being able to come a second or a third time, that drew you into our church family. And so that was a very valuable thing. We're going to revisit that in a bit. Of course, you also found our preaching and worship service to be highly important, that the preaching was strong and you were able to hear the word of God spoken to you and shared with you in clear and moving ways, that our worship and the songs and the ability for us to engage and give praise to God was something that impacted you as well. And from those, as you came particularly on Sunday morning, you were able to find various ministries to be a part of, that your families, the people in your families were able to find the ministries for teens or for kids, that retirement age people were able to find active, edifying ministries to be a part of, men and women. So the whole family found some place to be able to be a part of, to get to know people better. And that was a part of what drew you in initially. And as we asked that second question, what kept you engaged over the years, a lot of those similar things, that the preaching continued to be something that impacted you, that challenged you. You shared that often, that the people, it wasn't just an initial shallow welcoming, that people really cared about each other, they cared about you, and you were able to build those deeper relationships. And also from that, you mentioned discipleship groups, that you were able to plug into home groups or various classes that challenged you, that you got to know each other well and pray for each other in the depths of what you were going through in life and the ups and downs, and challenge each other in your faith. And so that was a valuable part of what has kept you engaged in this church family over the years. From that growth, from that knowledge, you also expressed that you were able to find ways to serve, both in our church family at RidgeNaz, but also in the greater community. You mentioned that you were able to serve in various ways in our small groups or our classes, also in our various compassionate outreach like Compassion 360, that you were able to really serve the needs of the greater community, real needs that made a real difference. A lot of you spent a lot of time and energy in using your giftings for those. And many of you have found some of those various ministries within our church, whether it's kids or teens, or any number of different ways that we serve each other and come alongside and edify each other. You've found ways to serve in those. And that's been impacting for you and for others as they experience the blessings of you sharing the gifts that God's given you. As we dove into more of the heart of the survey responses, there were some deeper questions, like the idea of what does our church family care about? What does it value? And in loving Jesus as a priority, we express that best. One of the things we care about most is how we care about each other, how we treat each other, that we prioritize this church family, this community that we build with each other, and that was something that RidgeNaz really finds important to do and to do well. And that feeds into some of our giftings, that we are welcoming, that we are friendly to people, and that is something that you said repeatedly was relational and people-centered. Now, there's a lot of real stories and real impact that I want to share with you, but I don't have time in this video. And so over the next few weeks, maybe months, we'll share more depth about specific ways in which you see us caring for each other well. Well, as I wrap up, we are exploring the next phases for the second campus vision. And we asked that question, what do you see as the value of that? And is there a need for that and a value for that? And a lot of you, in fact, the biggest overwhelming response was that, yes, you saw a need to outreach to new or non-believers, that there is a definite place to be able to build a community, to be able to reach those people in a new format. And you definitely saw that as a value and as a need, and saw a second campus as very potentially fulfilling and meeting that need. That we are called to, in Matthew 28, to the Great Commission and to fulfill that. And this is the way we see being able to follow the directive that Christ gives us. So we're going to explore more of that. But for now, I just thank you for joining us in this video, and I look forward to sharing more with you.